Hello and welcome to Chubs Gone Wild, the Lumberjack edition. It is this is episode 413, recorded on September 27th, 2021, where it's supposed to only get to 79 today, but it already feels warmer than that to me.
Are you kidding? We've
I
got
know.
the front door open. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's 79 right now. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah, I was surprised when it said that.
It says 81 for our high today. God damn you. I hate when the phone fucks with, it's like, I'm nowhere near that. Why did it go to that app? I don't know.
You know, my stuff has been just like all of a sudden like shutting off or shutting down apps lately. Oh, got it.
Well, mine move every once in a while. And it's not me. Well, it may be me, but I don't think it's me.
Yeah.
But this one, it went from the one weather app to the other weather app I have. And the thing is that the other weather app is not on this page. So how did my move it to the other app? Thank you.
Yeah. One thing that drives me nuts about my phone is that it keeps bringing up, whenever I ask it the weather, it'll bring up, well, if I ask Siri the weather, it'll bring up Sacramento. But if I go to the slide screen, it brings up Cupertino.
Well, that's because that's where your phone is.
Apparently. And then when I close that, it'll bring up Sacramento.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Cupertino is where you're where they also, because if you're on the East Coast, it's Cupertino, or West Coast, it's Cupertino because that's where Apple is.
I guess that would make sense, but it's kind of irritating. I don't live there. I don't need to know your weather, sir. Well, that aside, today is National Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And on behalf of Golden Rule Services, we want to remind you to please go get tested and to make sure that you are aware of HIV and AIDS and gay men getting it. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? There's actually a national plan called Getting to Zero, where they have put together a plan to actually get us to the point where there are like zero infections, along with zero stigma and zero, new infections.
Right.
So, I mean, it's incredible that we're at a point where we might actually be able to do that, but it is going to take still take a lot of work and with a lot of people,
they are saying
cats.
They're saying that the technology that they've gotten from the coronavirus vaccine has advanced what they were working on with HIV and AIDS vaccine. They say that there could be one within the next year or so.
I think that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, all right, it is currently 34 days until Halloween. It's just like, it seems like I'm waiting, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom.
Yeah.
So, and 89 days till Christmas, 7 until Thanksgiving in Canada. So only a week till Thanksgiving in Canada. Can't wait for all the pictures to roll in of all the maple syrup and the pumpkin pies. 59 until American Thanksgiving, and 97, just 97, until season 2 of Call Me Cat, which I told you that I got the season of the Cool Kids. I bought it because it was under $10, and it's something that I wanted because it was such a good show. I was so disappointed that it got canceled. So
I did the exact same thing with The New Normal. It only ran one season, and one day it was on Apple for $9.99, and I was like, "Thank you very much."
Yeah,
because and sometimes, I mean, think about it. 22 episodes is a lot of episodes. I don't know if there is that many with the Cool Kids, because I think it was a mid-season replacement, but still, it's like I still get enjoyment out of even things that get canceled. And
Mhm.
it was Ryan Murphy, and he basically had a middle a beginning, a middle, and an end of the season. So
Right.
it kind of it was fine. I mean, I wanted it to go on, but it didn't. But
Right.
what they had was enough. So
Yeah, and there are some shows that are just like that, and the cool kids, well, for me, there of course wasn't enough, but I
no.
think they did a really good job of I don't regret spending $10
Oh
to
no.
have that so that I can just watch it whenever I want.
Right. I thought you spent 20 or 30 or $40 for it.
No, no, I'm not in a place to be doing
Right.
that. But when I saw that it was, I think like 9.99 or 9.95 or something, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. And it's a good, safe, fun show too. And I just adore what's his name? Leslie Jordan. Just adore his work. So all right. Moving on to check day. Let's see what holidays are going on today that we might have some celebration of. And Ancestor Appreciation Day. Well, I definitely appreciate my ancestors. Some of them, most of them. Also, Family Day. How fitting. Morning Show Hosts Day. Chocolate milk. Corned beef hash. Chocolate milk and corned beef hash. That does not sound like a good combination to me. Crush a Can, and Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, and World Tourism Day. When's the last time you were out of the country?
It was a few years ago. I went to Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, I remember that. Okay. I've never been out of the country, but I was talking to our friend Clint yesterday. He just got his passport, whatever. I think it was his passport renewed. And I keep thinking that I need to actually get one in case, like Corey does another concert in Canada that I can actually get to. I would be prepared. So, and I guess it takes a little while, takes a couple months to get it when you start it.
Yeah, well, it's better now because I mean, for the longest time, you had to go into an office, you had to do all this, all that, bullshit. But with COVID, they've made it a little easier. So
Okay.
it's just like the restaurants. Remember the restaurants? Oh no, we can never do takeout. No, we are not that kind of restaurant. We don't have the capability. And 3 weeks into the lockdown, they were ready to do takeout.
Yeah.
And the restaurants that did survive. So
Yeah.
it's amazing what a little bit of
Necessity.
pandemic will do for things. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's cool. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like I never really think about it because I don't think about, well, I'm not going to travel for quite a while anyway. And then I'm like, actually, I should just have it because, who knows? I might have a rich person pop up and say, hey, let's go, explore Montreal or something.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, it comes when I was in Los Angeles was when I got my first adult passport. And it was because I had missed out on getting a job in Japan because I didn't have a passport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a sumo commercial?
No, it was for and you've seen these commercials before. It was the dancing traffic cop. The one who's in the center and he does this kind of stuff and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And it was just to be shot on a street in Japan, and it was because they paid us to take you there.
Yeah.
They pay for your housing. It would have been a free trip to Tokyo, and I couldn't do it because I did not have a passport.
Wow. That sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, you have it now, so who knows? Don't recreate it. Anyway, all right. Patreon offers folks a way to support creators not open to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons, Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ, Star Sage from Univaz, Timothy, Eric, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, Moose P, and Sean. We invite you to become a patron of the show for as little as $1 a day over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. All right, I know that we must have a lot of birthdays coming up. It seems like there's a lot of birthdays going on lately. It'll come. There we go. Well, today's oh my. Well, that's a visual to come up. I'll spare you guys. Today's birthdays. Philip Booth. I guess I shouldn't say the last name there. Philip and Eric and Kevin. Those are today's birthdays. And then we jump into wishing that Julius from fatmarkerclothing.com a wonderful birthday coming up tomorrow.
Today? I thought it was today.
Yeah, it says tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the picture that they posted today.
Oh, well, I'm less liking the profile picture here. But also the JG, one of our former actors, former Councilman Steve Hansen. We have Dan, author Summer King. That Christina Hill from the Greetings from Nowhere. And then we have author Amy Lane. Marvin, Rachel, Jennifer, Edward, Robert, Christine, Charlene, Tino's, Eric, actress Teresa Van, also Lily, Cubby, and that's what we got for now. So, yay! And then we jump into October. Oh my gosh, October. Actually, when do we come back? We actually come back October 4th. So we got a few more birthdays here. We got Tino's, Eric. Well, we just did those. Honestly, there we go. Justin, Patty, author Taylor Rylan, and that's it. Okay, then we jump into next week's birthdays. All right, so happy birthday to everyone. Hope that you are having a great week. And just jumping back over here. All right. We did have a little bit of feedback. This comes from Sean, and he says the round table that used to be here had a really nice lunch buffet. Unfortunately, it closed during the pandemic, never to return. Tom probably just needs to power cycle his router. And then he had a laughy face, so I think there's a little double entendre there. All right. As for Chub hugs, I'm running. I'm going to send Chub hugs to everybody who has sent me messages and contacts and everything for stuff I'll talk about during my week. How about you?
Oh, I will pass that to the your week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see. So current topics. Well, Elvira has come out and she discusses her 19-year relationship with a woman in her new memoir. And I said I did a video that went to, well, I guess it got over 1,000 looks or whatever on TikTok. I'm still not really clear on all the TikTok stuff, but basically that I absolutely love Elvira, and this has just made me love her more. And then, of course, I get the comment of, oh, what, you couldn't love her more if she were still heterosexual? And it's like, I know that I'm being baited into saying, oh, I love her no matter what. But you know what? The truth is that even though I would still love and adore her, even if she were, heterosexual or whatever she is, fact is now she validates.
No, this is the same bullshit. As
I don't want to
say, well, you look pretty today. Oh, I didn't look pretty yesterday.
Exactly.
Take a compliment and get over it.
Yeah, it's just baiting.
It is. It's ridiculous. You can't be funny without having somebody go, Well, what about fuck you?
Yeah, exactly. So it is a very big fuck you. And I do love her more because, yay, she is family. Moving on. But yay for her. And I have to say that there was always a little part of me that kind of wondered. So, Texas sues Biden administration for the First Amendment right to misgender trans people while they're at work. Of course, it would be Texas. Catholic school reverses decision to fire a gay coach after students erupt in anger. And of course, Moms for Liberty group demands school censor book because the drawing of the seahorse is too sexy.
No, people need to get a fucking life.
I know. Moms for Liberty. Oh my God, look at this cartoon book. That seahorse looks too sexy. Well, what are you smoking that you're looking at it that way? You like its big long nose? What? Anyway.
You know, that tail. And I wonder what they'd feel when they watch the male actually poop out all the babies.
Exactly. Yeah.
I bet that would be a big shock to them as well. So,
yep. All right. Well, it is now time for Tom to talk to you about his week.
Okay. Well, just going through what I've watched this week. I mean, first of all, the weird thing is the old days was that everything finished the week before the Emmys started, all the summer programming. And then the day after the Emmys, all the new shows, you know, new or renewed shows come back and boom, there we go. Well, it turns out that we've got some crossovers. And the weird thing is that streaming, who used to always counter program, they like Apple TV started up their morning show, the Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston series. They started a new one called Foundation, which is a space age sci-fi. I'm sure it's based on a book or young adult books, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's very big, expensive show. So that's just started, and so it's just weird. It's just weird for me because basically cable and streaming was always counter programming, like I said. Of course, now streaming and cable is actually getting the same kind of views as primetime television on the network. So it's kind of evening out. I was telling Brian when we recorded that I saw the ratings for this last Wednesday night, where Survivor started on CBS. It's the last week of Big Brother on CBS. Then NBC did its 3 Chicago shows. They have Chicago Medical, Chicago PD, and Chicago Fire. And then there was Fox just started their Masked Singer and the Alter Ego show that follows it. And ABC had the Goldbergs, the New Wonder Years, the Connors, that Home Economics, and the drama that's on after that. Well, ABC had the worst ratings, which surprised me because ABC comedies were always such a big draw.
Right.
But then again, a lot of people are watching ABC comedies on Hulu the next night. So and I don't know that they take that into consideration. But and Brian laughed when I said the 3 Chicago shows on NBC, and I go, well, laugh if you will. They won. Those 3 Chicago shows won the night over Survivor, The Masked Singer, and The Connors, basically. What? And so I just don't know anymore. I don't know how they judge what goes on DVRs, what gets watched live, what gets watched on Hulu or Peacock or whatever. I don't know how they can count all this, but it's all back. That's where I'm at. So anyway, let me go through what I got. Let's see. I'm not going to mention a whole lot of them. I did finish Why Women Kill season 2, and it's a hilarious season. Really well done. Every time anybody tries to get the upper hand, they fail. Anytime somebody tries to do the right thing, they fail. It's hilarious. And the ending, although tragic, was funny. And it's really one of those situations that be careful for what you wish for. So, and I know you're going to be watching it, so you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When she's doing it. On brand new cherry flavor, I won't give you the whole rundown. I will let you know that she did throw up another kitten. So, and she has so far every episode, except maybe not the first one. But anyway, on Evil, the main character's the female lead, her daughter has now grown a tail. What happened was they're investigating a fertility clinic that they think is that they're actually like spreading the demon seed, basically.
Yeah.
So, and obviously with the tail, that confirms that. And then the main bad guy who's working with the devil, he switches bodies with the female lead's mother, Christine. And I don't know what's happening with that. It's fucked up. It's majorly fucked up. The whole show is so good. I saw a review that said the scariest and funniest show on television. And I absolutely agree with it. Evil is so much fun. Big Brother, they're down to the top 3. Reservation Dogs, it ended, the season ended, and the main character they called Uncle, he's the pot smoking, he's basically me. Uncle, he's up on a piece of land and he lives by himself and smokes too much weed, and then there's a tornado coming and he goes, I need an axe so I can fight away the tornado. And he, after the tornado comes, he sends it away. It never actually hits the town. He sends it away, but when he wakes up, he's naked. So here's this fat guy, naked as can be. We didn't see him or anything. I don't think we could if they hadn't blurted out. I don't think we would have seen anything anyway. Pretty big guy. And but it was hilarious. They've got this one character on there who's the spirit of the Native American, but he's more like he has a feel of Sean Penn's character from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but as an American Indian. It's instead of like, dude, I'm so high, but he does have that kind of surfer kind of feel to him at the same time. So he was there, and he said, well, when you sent the tornado away, we had to take something from you, so it had to either be your life or your clothes. And we figured, well, we'll take your clothes instead. And he's like, oh, great, okay, great, thanks. That's on Hulu. It was slow to start, but it's getting better. And there's always a paranormal kind of feel because the Native Americans are, with the spirit animals, and they have a deer woman who kills bad people, which I love. Assholes that pick up girls and to rape them. Well, they don't get to do it again. So anyway, 9 Perfect Strangers ended on Hulu. Happy ending. American Horror Story, as I told you about last week, where it was the pill that, are you talented enough to take this pill? And so basically what happened was a group of them moved from P-Town to Los Angeles because they figured, well, let's sell some of these pills. Let's get some famous, because it was the agent that was there. She's working with the pill maker. And so she goes, well, we'll just go to Los Angeles. We'll get some we'll give these pills out, get some clients that will make them famous, and that'll make me rich. But then she starts giving the pills out in Los Angeles. And what happens is everybody turns into the vampire, the street vampires. And I'm laughing.
Wow.
And Sean's like, wow, that's really weird. And I go, no, what they're saying is if you've ever lived in Los Angeles, everybody's got a screenplay and they're all shit.
Yeah.
And so there's no talent in Los Angeles. So that's why everyone turned into the wrong kind of vampire. And I thought, good for you, that's hilarious. And sorry, that's a spoiler.
Oh.
But the show was actually a lot of fun. And we start the double feature next week with aliens trying to mate with humans, and we're not sure why. I don't know if it's for their survival or they're adapting to be on Earth, or it'll be interesting to see what they got. Only Murders in the Building. It's the Steve Martin short. Selena Gomez comedy on Hulu. Hulu's got a lot of good shit right now. Really, a lot of good shit. This is there was a murder in their building, and they're all true crime podcast fans. So they decided they're going to make their own podcast. The show just gets better every week. That's all I'm going to say there. On The Circle, we're coming up to the end. We're just waiting to find out who wins The Circle. It's funny because you really don't care who wins The Circle. The game is much more fun than who wins. You don't really care.
Yeah.
Let's see. If people haven't seen Amazing Vacation Rentals on Netflix, they really should take a look at it. It is these three young millennials, I guess, but they're not, they're not hipster millennials. What they're doing is they're traveling around the world, basically finding all the really cool places to rent for vacation. And one of the episodes this time was a paranormal vacation. If you want to go ghost hunting, there's a place in Ohio. If you want to go to look for Bigfoot, there's a place in Oregon that you can do that. And if you want to do alien hunting, well, then you can do that at this place in Arizona. So it's just kind of cool. And then the week before they did, or the episode before, they did destination weddings where you can, and they're usually economy or budget, average, and then luxury. So they're different amounts of money as well. So, but it's really fun. And it kind of feel like you go on vacation a little bit because some of the places are just so wonderful and relaxing. And that's Netflix. On another one from it's on Hulu. I'm watching it on Hulu, but it's actually on Fox. Is The Big Leap, which is the reality show trying to give dancers a second chance. And it's just, this show is like, I could put an IV of this show. I love this show so much. It is so much fun. They've done a really good job developing characters, and it's a lot of new faces. I'm right there. Now there's another show on. This is another Hulu original. It's called The Premise, and it's 5 half-hour movies, and basically, it's like the first episode was about Ben Platt. He was a guy who set up a camera to record himself having sex. And so he was watching the video of him having sex, and he noticed out the window that there was a couple cops, and there was a black guy, and there's a big trial right now about that this black guy beat up these cops. But through his lens, you could see the cop. He never touched the cops. The cop fell down and hurt himself. So, so he takes it to the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, "Oh, this is great. This proves his innocence." But what it ends up doing is making Ben Platt look like a total douchebag because he's having sex in the video at the same time, and the people, the other lawyer is like going, I don't even know if this is you. I mean, look at that scrotum is of an old man. I don't think that's even, and they're going, what are you talking about? You can see that it's him. I don't know. Maybe it's they've done something with the video, so it turns completely against Ben Platt, who's trying to do the right thing. And then the second one I saw, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious. The second one I saw is about this guy who gets a job at like the NRA. They called it something else because of probably don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
But it's a pro-gun organization. He gets the job, and they find out that his daughter was killed in a school shooting, and killed in a school shooting. So they're like, well, why would you want a job here? And he goes, what? Everyone's got a right to have a gun. You know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And they're like, oh, okay. But then he keeps bringing a lot of guns to work, and they're all like, maybe he's like setting us up. What's going to happen? Oh my God, something's going on here. And I won't give away the ending, but it's super good. And it's like these wonderful short films. I mean, they're 30 minutes long and they are so complete. And it's called The Premise, and it's on Hulu, and it is a must see.
What did you think of seeing Ben naked?
Well, I've seen him naked before.
Oh, yeah?
Naked enough. I mean, I haven't seen his wiener, but seen the butt, and you know, his full. I've seen him in a Speedo, so it's pretty much there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I went looking for it, people. It's just that I have. Okay. A new one on Netflix. I'm sorry to go so long, but
there's that's fine.
So many good things that came out. The Squid Game, which is on Netflix. It's a Korean film, a Korean series about what happens is all these losers get taken to basically an island, and they're forced to play games. And whoever wins the game wins money, and that will take them out of there, because they're all gamblers and failures, and you know, they've all put themselves in this position, so they want to win the money. But the thing is that they put them through 6 games, and the first 3 games are, oh fuck, we would not last. That's all I'm saying. We would not last. But it's I don't know. I love these Asian stories where they're making bad people pay, kind of. But and then we meet some people that are kind of good, even though they are bad. You know, so they're playing with emotions. But I'm loving the show, and I don't know why. I really don't. I do. I'm having a good time with it. There's a new show that's on Paramount Plus called The Harper House. It's an animated series, just started, about a family that the mother lost her job, the father's a stay-at-home father. There's 2 kids. They have to move back into the house of the father's aunt that just recently died. And I think it's a haunted house, but we really haven't seen that yet. So I'm hoping for my paranormal, loving, that this turns out that it's a real haunted house. So far, it's a decent show. I like the characters. It's interesting. I've noticed that recently the animated shows are trying to make women into Peter Griffin and Homer Simpson. They're trying to find a female Homer Simpson. And it's really a hard thing to do, because I just don't think women are that stupid, that not with it, where men can be, they scoot by because they're men. So I'll be interested to see where this one goes. Survivor started, as I said. That was fun. They sent home 2 people on the first show. And it's because what's happening is they only filmed, instead of 39 days, they only filmed 26 days because of COVID. And so I'm not sure what that means, if we're going to have a full season or a partial season. Wonder Years just started. Takes place in Alabama in 1968, because everybody was thinking, so is it going to be like in the 70s, like the original Wonder Years, or is it going to be like in the 90s, because it's only 30 years ago? And it's like, no, we're going back, and we're going back after a lot of the shit went on in Alabama, but I'm sure there's plenty more that went on that we don't see.
Yeah.
Late 60s and early 70s.
Now, is it a comedy?
It's as much of a comedy as the real Wonder Years was, because
Okay.
it was funny, but it was also, they called it a comedy, but it wasn't a situation comedy. It was more of a, this is what the kids are going through. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, with a comic kind of look to it. And I think that's what they're going to do here. It's hard to tell. The first episode was, I don't know. I'll see. I'll continue to watch.
Okay.
Masked Singer just started back up, and it was wonderful. 2 nights. It was Wednesday and Thursday. They ended up getting rid of 3 people already. Very exciting, very fast paced. The show right after it is Alter Ego, and I hated it. And this is about basically they're doing I always forget the term. When ABBA's coming back and when they do Whitney Houston, they show she's the they have a laser of her or whatever they call that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
yeah. The
yes,
hologram.
They have a hologram,
Yeah.
and they do that with this. Basically, they have a hologram, but it's not of the person, it's of the person's musical persona. So
Okay.
instead of being, it's like if Cyndi Lauper, came out, and instead of Cyndi Lauper, she's looking like a dragon.
Okay.
And I don't really want to see people singing fake. I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but I hated it. And especially all these people are like, well, I tried to be a singer, but it just didn't work out. And it just made, I think it's because I started feeling like, oh, the people are too ugly to be real singers.
Yeah.
So now we have to give them a look that you don't focus on their hideousness or their lack of it.
Like when they would have like some really large woman who didn't fit their mold or something, so they would put her in the studio and then let her sing and other people perform it or be backup singers. It's okay if you're a backup singer.
Susan Boyle, perfect
Yeah.
example. And that's kind of how I felt during this. I don't know if that was their intention, but that's how I felt. The Connors, they did a live show. It was why do a live show? I don't understand it. It didn't add anything to it at all. Let's see. There's a new show called Ordinary Joe on NBC about this guy, and he has 3 paths. He's graduating college. He's got 3 paths to take. He can either become a cop, a doctor, or a musical star. And so the show, at least the first episode, followed all 3 paths. And so like in one, there's this senator that gets shot during a rally and comes into the doctor, him as a doctor. But in the other path, he is the cop, stopped the guy from shooting the senator. And in the other one, he was a musical singer that was going to sing at the thing that the politician was doing. So and I applaud them. I applaud them to take 3 storylines and then completely whack them up and make them work. But I don't know how you if this is 22 episodes, I'm out. It's confusing because all the same people are in each 3 paths. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I get where that, especially if is it following the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same guy, but one as a doctor, he went the path to get his, he became a doctor. The other where he became a cop, and the other he becomes the musician. But 3 storylines all at the same time. He's the girl, who's his best friend in one, he's married to in another and divorced to in the other. So it's all over.
I mean, it's a really interesting concept, but that would drive me crazy for 22 episodes as well.
Yeah. Okay. So Foundation, which I said started on Apple TV, and the morning show just started. Both are really interesting. I love morning show. It's, who doesn't like bitchy nasty, famous people. It's fun. And then Family Guy is back, and The Simpsons. So yay,
Yeah.
get back. It's funny because it almost feels like more so like the pandemic's over, because remember last year the season kind of almost never started.
Yeah.
It took I remember we didn't get new programming until like November, December on a lot of stuff. And now it's starting right where it should, right after the Emmys. Good times. And by the way, the Tonys last night were on, it's so weird, they weren't on any major network. Actually, they weren't on any network. They were only available to see on Paramount Plus. And then they did an after show where they announced the best play, best musical, and best revival of a play. But then they had all these great musical numbers. And one of them actually in the Tony show that no one, I guess, got to see. They had Jennifer Hudson singing "I'm Telling You I'm Not Leaving," and there was not a dry eye in the house. Everyone's wearing masks, and their eyes are all squinty, and you can see tears running down like the side of their faces. And it's really one of those amazing performances that I just can't imagine what it would have been like to see that live 40 years ago when Dreamgirls came out, which that floors me right there. But the woman who announced it, and I can't remember her name, played the lead girl in, the Diana Ross character in Dreamgirls. And she said, every night I would stand off to the side and watch her give this performance that you're going to see right now every night. And I mean, even though she's supposed to come out at the very end, you're ready and you want to watch this every night. It's like when we did Hedwig, and every night there were more than one favorite song that I love, but it's like you don't want to miss that, because you're only going to it's amazing every night, but you're only going to get it's gone. And in live theater, it's so much different than seeing it in a movie. It just is. And I remember seeing Dreamgirls on the Tonys 39 years ago when she won Best Actress in a Musical, and she sang it that night. And I just remember being one big goosebump. So, and 40 years later, she's singing the song like it was nothing. Like she'd done it. She's been doing it every day in the last 40 years, which actually she probably has. I know she still has a singing career, but it was fantastic. And I think that's it for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
here we go. This is it.
Well, to get the smaller stuff out of the way first, I've been watching Charms, the original. I am almost to season 3. I just kind of, I've seen it so many times and everything that I kind of have it on in the background during part of the day.
You don't have to. Yeah, I can watch Big Mouth without actually looking at Big Mouth and know exactly what's happening.
Right, exactly. But it has been nice to kind of see some of the characters and stuff again, because I didn't really finish it the last couple of years. I think I've gotten mostly through like season 3, maybe 4, and then just taking a break. So I'm up to season 24 on Amazing Race, which is the second or third time they brought back 150 their favorite teams. I think one of my favorite teams is still the Cowboys, although I looked them up and the redhead is a liberal and a really cool guy. And his brother Jet, Gordon Jet is a conservative Christian Republican politician. So fuck him.
Is he a Trumper?
What's that?
Is he a Trumper?
I don't know. they didn't say anything about that, but I would not be surprised.
Well,
But
because when people say they're Christians for Trump, I go, you cannot be a Christian for Trump.
absolutely,
I refuse that. You
yeah,
cannot say that.
yeah, I agree. So and then, but this they had the deaf guy and his mom back on, and they had Brenchel back on. They were a little better in this race than the first one. The first one, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe these people are real, especially her. What, she's such a nightmare. So anyway, I'm still watching it. I don't know who's won yet, but I'm having some fun with this one. But I'll tell you, 22 and 23, they were phoning it in. I really couldn't have cared less about most of those teams. So I was just glad. Oh, and the 23 was the one, I don't know, you probably didn't really watch these, I guess, but
No.
there were these two, there was a black team, husband and wife, and they were both ER surgeons, and she's actually gone on to do like a bunch of other reality TV medical shows and stuff like that. But he just treated her. I mean, I've seen some toxic masculinity, like push the guys pushing their women, like physically pushing them and calling them stupid and a bitch and everything. But this guy was so like just cruel to his wife, like just telling her how stupid she was and how he expected more from her, and like she couldn't complete anything, and just saying those where I'm like, I would have if he was saying that shit to me, I would have stopped what I was doing and told him I'm leaving and I want a divorce. Fuck you, get out of my face. I mean,
I've got a story. I've seen this happen.
oh,
I was with my work. We had a softball team, and so one day I thought, oh, I'll go and it's closer to my house than work was, so I thought, well, I'll go over there. And one of the guys, they had to have a certain amount of women on the team. I think you had to have 2 or 3 women on the team because it was a mixed league. And so the one guy brought his wife, and while she's trying to bat, or when she's out, he's like yelling at her and just being horrible. And then she gave him the I'm frozen for a second. There we go. Okay, so she gives him the don't talk to me that way in front of your coworkers, blah blah blah. And so then she goes up there and she ends up not hitting anything, and she's walking back after being up to bat, and he goes, oh wow, you did a really good job. And everyone's like, what a condescending asshole motherfucker. Oh my God. It completely changed because he's not that way at work. I mean, I've never seen that at work. And it just changed the way everybody thought about him. So yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. And this guy was, I mean, he was just so mean and demeaning, but it wasn't like the white, I don't know, maybe I should say the white guys. It wasn't like the other teams where they were like just calling them stupid and a bitch and like even shoving them and stuff like that. That was more overt. This was just that kind of quiet, you're just worthless, you can't do a damn thing, and you're gonna, that type of like and she just, I don't know, she's like, well, he expects more of me, he expects me to be the perfect woman and everything. And I'm like, you're a fucking ER doctor, man. You are like the coolest of the cool. Well,
sometimes when they hit, that means they want me to be better.
Yeah, and that's what she's saying.
It's the human touch that I crave. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Fuck you, idiots.
I was just like, please have left him. Please have left him. But no, she didn't. But she went on to do some really cool things. So, and I didn't see him doing any of it. So, and I think there were a lot of people that wanted her to leave him. I did watch the last of the Halloween Town movies, which was Return to Halloween Town, where she went to college. And they had there was a big kerfuffle apparently because they had replaced the lead actress, and a lot of fans were like really upset about that. Well, it turns out that the lead actress held out for more money, and they couldn't come to terms, so they brought in someone else. That's how it works. So I like the first two of the Halloween movies pretty well. The last two were like, whatever. But they were fun to watch, very light comedy, and I would recommend them if you just want something fun and light to watch, especially for Debbie Reynolds.
I saw a meme where it said, which of these Halloween shows would you get rid of? You have to lose one. And they had like Beetlejuice and Hocus Pocus and a couple of, 3 others, and Halloween Town. And I'm like, I know they want us to say Halloween Town, but I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, it's now something I will, at least the first 2 of them, I'll watch them every year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's fun. And then I've been watching for comfort shows when I'm not watching Charmed or The Amazing Race. I'm watching, if you go onto YouTube and you just type in Halloween sitcoms, people have made like playlists of just like random Halloween episode sitcom episodes, and there's just tons of them. So I started one, and I'm actually watching a list where I have not seen these before. They were shows like, oh gosh, Gear Burns, whatever his name is, like head of a family, and then D.L. Hughley's show, and just shows that I've never seen before. And it was kind of fun, even though I didn't know anything about the characters or whatever. They were very fun episodes. So, well,
you remember the Roseanne, the Halloween episodes were always the best.
Yes,
they always were fun. Yeah, and because I'm not a big Halloween fan, so to me it was like, all right, this makes me interested. This looks like, well, you really can have fun on Halloween, because I'm just always in a costume that doesn't fit well, and it's hot. And it's usually, I don't know who everybody is because they're in costume, and then all I want to do is eat and get hungry. So I can do that at home.
Yeah. And so the Roseanne and the Simpsons, those were the 2 Halloween episodes that you watch for every year. Yeah,
absolutely. So, and now you can watch all the, at least last year, Disney Plus put all the Halloween episodes up in a row.
Yeah, so that was very cool.
One after another. So
yeah, that's very cool. So I think that's about it that I watched. A mom update. She's doing really well. She's at the point now where she's getting antsy to like want to drive and stuff. She's actually starting to walk a little bit without the walker, which is pretty cool. So she has far less pain than before the surgery. So she's just really
moving on
well.
Which hip?
This was the right one.
Okay.
She had the left one done about 10 years ago.
Well, make sure that before she drives, she does, just drives a little, like drive around the block type thing, because I found out that moving your foot over to the brake and back and forth like this on the gas.
Yeah.
When I've had knee problems and ankle problems, is excruciating pain. So
yeah. Well, and that's what she's been going through before the surgery. So I can, only imagine.
Yeah, I just don't want her to get caught somewhere and it's so much pain she can't go on and stuck somewhere. So be careful.
Yeah, my concern is that she wouldn't necessarily have the pain, but the muscles haven't fully kind of come back together to give her the strength to do long distance anything. So but she's one of those people that she's just like, once she feels that she's at a certain point to do something, she's just off and running, always has been. So I'm kind of keeping her under wraps, keeping her like, no, we'll figure that out. Don't worry about it. You don't need to be running off to do anything right now. And the other thing, the bigger thing, of course, and many of our listeners know because they have been very kind to reach out to me over the last few days. On September 25th, which was 2 days ago, at 2:22 p.m., I got the call, and my father had passed away. He was in rehab. Actually, he and my mom were in the same rehab for about a week, and she saw him several times during that. And she said that he was doing okay, but that he wasn't he knew who she was and stuff, but he didn't really necessarily understand exactly where he was. The last time I was on the phone with him, he was, I mean, he sounded pretty much okay, weak, but okay. But I didn't talk to him in great detail. And then I got the call on
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night that he was it? Yeah, Friday that he
They put him on life support.
Yeah, I was going back a little bit before
okay.
that it was like after midnight, and they called and said that he was having really low blood sugar, and that he was spitting out his the glucose tablets that they give you to kind of help bump it up.
Right.
And that they were worried about it, so they sent him to the hospital. And so I really wasn't thinking much of it because he's been through this type of thing before.
Sure.
And then 2 hours later, the first ER doctor called and said that he had gotten, from what I'm understanding, he had gotten fluid from his stomach in his lungs. And it was something that is not uncommon in certain circumstances, but that they were treating it, and it had diminished his oxygen flow. So they intubated him and put him on a breathing tube. And but he was hopeful that he's like, I still expect that he can pull out of this. But they did at that time ask me, what happened, what do you want if his heart stops on its own? And I'm like, well, if you're thinking that there's going to be recovery, why are you worried about that? But I did say, if it stops on his own, then let him go. But other than that, do whatever you need to do to help him. And then it literally was like 8:30 the next morning, because I didn't sleep and go to sleep that night until like 5, because it was just weird. And then 8:30 they called and said he's on full life support at this point. He's developed influenza, and he's not really responsive to anything. So I mean, like, he was in a coma, but not full,
Yeah.
So they just kind of said, what do you want to do? So I finally, after talking to the doctor very thoroughly, and they can't prompt you for anything, but he made it very clear everything that was going on. And I finally just had to say, okay, well, then I think that it's probably time to let him go. And so that was when I had to basically make the decision to take him off life support and let him go. And I've always been very open that he and I haven't had the best of relationships, and didn't really get along that well a lot of the time. Although I will say, in the past month or so, because I've had to caretake with him so much, that we got it got I don't want to say the relation, we got closer and we're happy father and son, but there was no like real fighting or unhappiness or anything like that. I don't know, those aren't the right words, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was really weird and surreal and very quick. And that's the thing is we were still expecting that he was gonna, be in the rehab for a couple weeks and then be back here unless we could get him into full-time care. So for him to just like all of a sudden go, I'm still not fully, grasping it. But since then, I've been buried in paperwork and have a whole bunch of things ahead of me that I don't really know about and don't want to make the calls for, but now begins the process of cleaning up everything that was and taking care of getting him. But there's been some really good people helping me and getting me information, and he's gonna go into a military cemetery, so he'll have a headstone and so I mean, I'm just very, very appreciative of the resources and the people that have been helping and reaching out and stuff. So yeah, I'm still overwhelmed with it, but that is what happened. And so my Chub hugs this time, I just really want to send out to all the people who have been very supportive and kind and everything.
As do mine.
Yeah.
And to you.
Thank you. And especially my mom has been really great through all of this. She was really his best friend. I mean, through 51 years, 52 years almost, she really stuck by him, even when she was like, yeah, he's an asshole and blah, blah, blah. But she was still his friend when nobody else would have anything to do with him. So yeah, big stuff to her. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. Fat Marker Clothing wants those of us who have been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And Chubs listeners, you can do that by using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything while ordering over at fatmarkerclothing.com.
And I want to remind people on this that because we're still in this pandemic bullshit, and if you got somebody that you want to get something for, not only are you going to get 20% off, but you want to get it there in time. So this is the year to order early for Christmas.
Oh, definitely. That's a great thing to point out.
I know it's 4 months away, but it's not, well, actually 3 months away.
Yeah.
So it's time. It's just get the stuff done. I mean, the ports, I just saw news today that both the East Coast and West Coast ports are backlogged. They don't have enough people to unpack the tankers that are coming in. They don't have enough people to move the tankers. Everything's running back and behind. So it's time to start early.
Yeah.
You get 20% off.
Yeah. No, that's really good point. I've seen signs that there's a change shortage. And there's at the grocery store where we're at, they have a shortage of all things. They have a shortage of marrow bones.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah, right? You just what? But I guess it's there's more than that. It's not just marrow bones. It's like stuff to do with that whole,
Well, if you try to get beef now, beef is out of ridiculous how much they're charging for beef. I mean, I love beef, but I'm not paying $5 a pound for 80-20 hamburger. That's ridiculous.
It is, and that is the staple of the household here is
Yeah.
for meat is hamburger, and hamburger and skinless, boneless chicken breast tenders, boiled. But the hamburger especially is I mean, 3 pounds and it's like $11, and that is a special. Because if you go to another store, it's like 8 pounds or almost $9 for 2 pounds, I think.
Right. Yeah. Oh no. I went to a food co, which is, one of the, let's say, more discount supermarkets,
Hmm.
and it was $4.99 a pound for, let's say, like I said, the 80-20. If you went down to 60-40, where it's 40% fat, it's a little cheaper, but I don't want, half my hamburger melting away in the pan.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the stuff that we have to get,
I
whatever
know.
is we can afford. Like the grass fed 1 pound of grass fed, or like the really premium hamburger on like Amazon Fresh or something is like $9,
Yeah.
$8, $9
Crazy.
for a pound. It's just insane. But okay. Advice. This
Yes.
comes from Dear Prudie over at slate.com.
But is this a real one or not?
I don't know.
I know. Who cares?
I don't mind either way.
I think that the fake ones are usually more fun anyway.
True. Recently, one of my favorite cousins died unexpectedly. My girlfriend and I went to lunch with him and his partner about a week prior to his death, and it was her first time meeting them. Her birthday is coming up, and we've planned a small party. In an effort to reach out to my cousin's grieving partner, I invited him to the party without consulting my girlfriend. Now she wants me to disinvite him and tell him the truth about why. She says she doesn't want his grief to ruin her happy day. I take full responsibility for being insensitive in not asking her permission first, but how in the world can I disinvite him without hurting her feelings? Without hurting her feelings.
The girlfriend.
Well, yeah, but why would he hurt her feelings? How in the world can I disinvite him without hurting her feelings? Well, she doesn't want him there.
Right.
I don't know. This
Okay. Yeah.
weird wording, but I think we know.
Fact is, what is he running around in a veil?
I know. I'm like, what's he gonna just get there and they're gonna blow out the birthday candles and he's gonna start sobbing all over the cake? Like, what the fuck? I think that the girlfriend is just a bitch, and this just shows that she's not a very nice person.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. It's like, well, spoil her birthday. It's a fucking birthday.
I want to be happy on my birthday. I don't want somebody who might be upset because their lover, their partner died. Rude. Anyway, well, let's see what Dear Prudie had to say. Sure, you should have talked to your girlfriend before expanding the guest list, but given your girlfriend's churlish reaction, I think the question should not be how you disinvite your cousin's partner, but how you disinvite your girlfriend. Oh,
wow, Prudie, come on.
yeah. If the partner is up for socializing, what a nice gesture it was to give him the opportunity to get out of the house. If he's not up for making merry with people that he doesn't know, he will decline. Excuse me. You're right, there is no way to disinvite him. Your girlfriend wants you to not only rescind an offer, but to explain that his tear-streaked face would be a bummer at her happy event. She has given you the opportunity not only to celebrate another year of her life, but to contemplate her character. Oh, this is one of the earlier Prudies, Emily Yoff, or Yoffe, or however you pronounce it. This isn't Dan. the one that got scammed by all those fake ones. Anyway, wow, I agree. I completely agree. Or she agrees with me, one or the other there. Wow.
Well, I'm really glad. It's like maybe you should think about a new girlfriend. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I mean, expanding the guest list. Okay, be mad about that, but
Yeah.
I'm not uninviting him. And if you have a problem with that, we'll just cancel the party, and that'll make it all better. Because that's something I can say. Oh, we ended up canceling the party after all. I'm not saying that unless we do. And I'm not uninviting him because you're being a bitch.
Right, exactly. I mean, that would be like, well, I was gonna say if Brian had a party, but that's just laughable right there. But yeah, if somebody was having something and invited me and said, oh, well, his father died, so he might be very upset, so we don't want him around. It's like, fuck you.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
Dump her.
Yeah.
Dump her or tell her to go to therapy and, or buy a heart. Hey, Chubs, hard candy, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah, I do like a good butterscotch.
Well, that's the one that always comes to my mind too. But there's nothing better than some ribbon candy during Christmas.
See, I haven't had that for a long time, but I do remember when I was a kid, we always had that, and it was always like you just pick up a piece of it and the whole bowl comes with it.
And the fun thing was dropping it, and then shards would come off, and those would be the ones you've eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard candy's fine. It's got its place, but yeah, the butterscotch, or even the when I liked the peppermint swirls. Remember the?
Oh, I loved those.
I mean, let's face it. I spent a lot of time at the Brock's.
Yes.
The Brock's display when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all just for the Neapolitan one.
Oh, that was always the good one, that little coconut flavor. Yeah.
So
yeah, although they always had the wrappers, that there was always that little piece of plastic that's still stuck on there.
Well, no, mine was just trying to figure out how to open them. It's like, why are these so hard to open?
Yeah. Oh, and I like the little caramel rolls too. Those were always fun. And you had to figure out what flavor was in them by the color of the package. But yeah, my great grandmother was one of those older women that always had butterscotches and candies in her purse.
My mother did as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a purse just to carry some around at some point. But so yay. Hey, Chubs, favorite Cyndi Lauper song?
Well, I mean, the thing is, there's so many to choose from, great songs, but my personal belief is that Time After Time is one of the greatest songs ever written. So that would be my choice.
Yeah. Like you said, there's a whole bunch pop into mind that I'm like, oh, that one's good and that one's good. But Time After Time is like just the standard of songs for songs.
Yeah, whenever I hear, because it's everywhere. It's like, I remember I was watching Strictly Ballroom, and they're dancing on the rooftop to Time After Time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been more in love with the song. And then it kept growing. Everybody kept using it because it gives just this wonderful, it's like this hug.
Yeah.
It's, and so, yeah, I mean, I love Good Enough, and I love True Colors, and Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and I could go on and on and on, but Time After Time.
Yep, I have to agree. All right, trivia question time. Speaking of Cyndi Lauper, how many albums accumulatively has Cyndi Lauper sold?
Oh, total albums? I would say 89 million.
Wow. Okay. I would have said that or more. Actually, I probably would have gone more like the 200 million, but the answer is 50 million. American singer Cyndi Lauper has released 11 studio albums, 6 contemplation albums, 5 video albums, and 51 singles worldwide. Lauper has sold approximately 50 million albums, singles, and DVDs. I would have thought it was way more than that, but
yeah, I would have thought that the singles were,
yeah.
I mean, because what happened, because I was really shocked that at one point Garth Brooks broke the Beatles record and Elvis's record of over 100 million albums sold.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the Beatles only sold, what? And,
Right.
and it's like, we forget that, I mean, I didn't buy albums as a kid. I only bought singles.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I would buy albums of my favorites, like the Carpenters and Barry Manilow and Sneaker and Olivia Newton-John, but I was still buying singles of things like the Eagles and no, actually I bought all the albums on the Eagles. You had to, they were great. But the disco era,
Yeah.
all that was all singles. With an occasional Bee Gees or Donna Summer album, it was all singles. Who bought the whole album of Gloria Gaynor singing "I Will Survive" when you had the single? So that doesn't surprise me. I thought it would have been higher though with Cyndi, because
Me too.
She's also had Kinky Boots, all the sales off that one as well, and I mean, she's been everywhere.
Yeah, I wonder if that was including that, because
it wouldn't have raised it too much, because soundtrack albums don't do really well. But she did cry her eyes out last night after Jennifer Hudson sang "She's on the Video." I mean, you can see her afterwards, where she's trying to clear her eyes before the cameras hit her, and of course the cameras boom right on her.
The Carpenters sold 90 million.
Yeah. And Barry Manilow's isn't that high.
Barry Manilow, I'm just curious. Barry Manilow album sold 85 million for Barry.
And think about that. That's a 45 year career. Yeah. Because
Corey Hart's only at 16 million.
Right.
He's been
well, and don't forget that a lot of people just borrowed that album and put it on a cassette too.
Right.
There's a lot of that was going. We were stealing in a different way.
Right.
40 years ago.
Yeah. That's weird. The Wikipedia for Corey Hart has his birthday wrong. Stupid people. Anyway. Okay, enough of that.
Lunchbox.
Yes. So Mr. Moose wrote in, and he said, well, this looks like a gelatinous mess, and it does, but it tasted good. That's the important part. A Salisbury steak, onion gravy, mashed potatoes, roasted asparagus, all homemade. Wow.
That's a dig towards me, by the way.
Okay. Still trying to learn the new oven and stove. They are running a little hotter than the old equipment, but in time I'll get the hang of it. It's interesting, because when we got the new oven that we have here, I had the same learning curve too, because I was used to the other one, and how the other one heated, the oven heated hotter on one side. So you had to kind of adjust where you put stuff in it depending on what you wanted, and then time it differently.
I remember on cakes on my old oven where I would have to, if it was being there for, 20 minutes, at 10 minutes, about 5 minutes, I would rotate them a full half circle, because otherwise you'd end up with cakes that were like this.
Right.
They were a little higher on one end, but which worked because you could just flip them. But I don't like a cake that's on the diagonal. So
yeah.
This, I don't care how gelatinous that gravy looks. What I'd want to do is just lay in it and then pull the sides over on me to keep me warm.
Nice. What's under it looks really good.
But I want Salisbury steak. I haven't had it in such a long time.
Yeah, well, the only thing I've had is like a TV dinner of it, but I don't think I've ever had like a real homemade Salisbury steak. But that reminds me that I started watching Top Chef Junior last night because you had recommended that, and I had just blown away at the level of, well, maturity as well as skill with these kids.
Mhm.
I mean, 11 through 13, and they're just like knocking it out of the park with these things. It's crazy.
I know their skills, their knife skills, and
Yeah.
oh, let me just whip this up real quick in the blender, and it's like, oh my God.
And they know all these terms and stuff, just like the adults do on the show. It was crazy.
Well, and you do know that the British Baking
Oh, yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah. I just saw that. I'm going to try to watch it. I don't like to really dig in until it's already done. All the episodes are there, but
Yeah, so you could just binge through it because you're that kind of person.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know, maybe this time because I do love the show and I'm glad it's back. So, and I heard that this was a cake competition and it was really well done. So,
What's not, when is it not? Well, it's always well
well,
done.
that's true. Although I have to say, a little part of me misses Sue and Mel still.
Well, I used to like the American version when it was um, the married couple from Greek Wedding and Cougar Town. Oh well, they were
I don't remember. Maybe I was sure I watched. Oh, maybe I only watched the holiday versions, and it had like what's her name, Spice, the one Spice girl, Emma.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, call your local sexual health clinic. To find out more about Golden Rule Services, please visit sacgrs.org.
And since it is National Gay Men's HIV Awareness Day, good thing. There's no reason if you are sexually active and you're not playing it safe, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be protecting yourself. It's
Right.
there, and it's usually paid for.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like in most states, but especially in California, whether you have insurance or not,
Right.
you get this.
Yeah.
So, all right. Send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Leave us a comment, chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Please consider becoming a patron of the show over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews at swannerandjudd.com. Find their podcast in iTunes or on iHeartRadio. Find out more about my books over at justkisstheguy.com and check out my other podcast at biggaysexshow.com. Watch our videos of this show at youtube.com/c/Matthew Burlingame, or just look for us over there. Search for us.
For Chubs Gone Wild. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Okay. And then give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
And we hope to hear from you because it would be nice to hear from you.
Yeah, especially with your birthday coming up. And wait, let me look real quick. It's I'll know in a second. In 33 days.
That's true. I have heard a rumor about that, and I will be older very soon.
Now, is this 52 year or 51?
51.
Okay.
Yeah. 51 and fatherless. Very weird. I know. Trust me. I heard it came out of my mouth and went, oh, that might be inappropriate. But yeah. Anyway, I just, like I said, I'm not completely sure how I'm feeling about everything. And it won't for a long time.
And no one will blame you for it. So
yeah. So anyway, But thank you so much again for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.